4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. The 3 wide again, Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across, they're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
Before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy, you know, these are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been mugged and it's ready to go off.
Now, I love it. 10.5 minutes gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, good evening everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to another round of the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship and their wonderful 4th season, which of course kicked off just a week ago at Interlagos for 2 half-hour races here on Chaz Draycott Media, and what an amazing first race meeting we had with this great series. So much to think about, so much to look at, and we're going to have all the same again here from Circuit of the Americas. It's known as a circuit that's very Marmite. There's a lot of drivers that love this place and a lot of drivers that really don't like this place, and that is certainly going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. Chaz Draycott and Ed May up here in the commentary box. Ed, welcome back to the booth, my friend. What a great race we're going to have here tonight, though, because this is really going to be a... I don't even think I've got words for how good it's going to be, to be honest with you, because, like I've said, some people are going to love this, others are going to really find it difficult. Can't unfortunately hear Ed at the moment. I do apologise, everybody.
Oh, sorry, I must have had my mic muted. Sorry, I'm back on. Mute my mic just to have a little drink and back in. And yes, I think the word you were looking for, Chaz, was a barnstormer.
Yes.
All around here in the great state of Texas, here at the Circuit of the Americas. And we had an amazing opening 2 rounds of the championship, this being the 3rd round. And it's just the one race tonight, a 1 hour sort of a semi-endurance, but pretty much a sprint for these GT3 cars, with a few pit stops maybe sprinkled in the middle as well. But after all of the drama and action of Interlagos, I think we're going to see some drivers really go at it here at Circuit of the Americas, because you do see a few times when drivers first start off in a championship, the first round is always a little bit more calm, even though we saw a lot of action. I think the drivers take it a little bit easier. And now that they've sort of got their eye in a little bit, know who they're going to be racing across the course of a championship, some ideas of where they're going to be potentially in a championship fight as well. We're going to see, I think, a little bit more aggression, a little bit more bite in these battles.
You say the word calm, and it's definitely calm in the cockpit of the championship leader, Troy Dolinczek. He's currently sat in the pit lane at the moment. He is the elite championship leader over Jean Breitenbach, who is currently at the moment in 16th position in their little practice session that goes on before the race. He's 12th in his class as well, so he's not having the best night so far, but it can all change in qualifying, we know that. There's going to be a lot of slipstreaming and a lot of big thinking manoeuvres around here tonight. You know, you're going to have to really have your head in the game. Fastest in the Premier class at the moment is Nathan Crook for Ludcrook Racing. And Nathan actually, after the last round, said that he is still quite new to sim racing, so we're intrigued by the fact that he is fastest in that class at the moment by just 44 thousandths of a second. Rob McKee, by the way, is currently 81 thousandths of a second ahead of Randy Ayres, the privateer. He's in the gorgeous DXT Motorsports livery. He's just got behind him there, Paul Cowlishaw, in the Lamborghini, the Sumo Racing machine. Looking at the championship standings, though, it's Wesley Van Rens that is currently at the top of the Premier class. I'm just looking for Wesley actually in this session. Oh no, apologies, sorry. He's highest in the Evo standings. I've got them the tabs the wrong way around in my in my browser where I'm looking at the standings. But Wesley Van Rens had a tidy old time last time, but he's only 1 point ahead of his nearest rival, I think. No,
Wesley Van Rens is, I think, 23
he's
points
23
ahead.
I need to keep looking at the right thing. He's ahead of Gareth Newton, isn't he? And to be fair, Ed probably knows what he's on about. So take it away, Ed, who the top is in our Premier standings.
I was hoping you would, because I've been really looking at this just up and down and seeing the tight battles that there are all in the midst of this Premier standings. And Gianni Tahar, we're seeing on the circuit now, is currently the top driver in the Premier standings with 110 points to his name. And he's only 1 point clear of this man. Lovely camera work, Chaz. Just focus on this Ferrari. Alex Fretwell in the Fretwell's liveried machine. The Ferrari, which we are expecting to do quite well at COTA with its straight line speed sort of benefit. And then also himself, actually. Alex is only 17 points ahead of Gianni Tahar's teammate, Tristan Engelstad. Engelstad currently 4th in this session at the moment. And Fretwell, while we are expecting the Ferrari to do quite well, isn't really setting the timing screens alight in this practice session. He's currently 1.3 seconds off of the fastest man, Crook.
Yeah, indeed. It's very, very close between these guys, but there is still quite a bit of a topsy-turvy order in the Premier and the Evo class compared to what we saw at Interlagos. And Gareth Newton's actually just gone fastest in his class now, which is, of course, the Evo class. The Sumo Racing Lamborghini goes quickest. Makes his way down out of turn 1. Really tough circuit this, actually, Ed, especially this first sector here. There's a lot of flowing sections. And if you're in a mid-engined car like the Lamborghini Huracan or the Ferrari, you're going to find it hard to keep it behaving. Oh, goodness me, keep it behaving itself through there. And those curbs on the inside will really harm you if you clout them hard enough, like we saw Gareth do just then.
Oh, that's perfectly illustrated by Gareth. He almost wanted to give us a demonstration of what you were describing, that sort of mid-engine instability through those sweeping right and left-handers, sort of modelled off of the Baggots-Beckett's complex at Silverstone, where you go from sort of fast sort of right into a fast left and keep it going. But then also you get that nice little rise over a crest, don't you, at the end of that sector. It sort of breaks it up a little bit and then interchanges into sort of more straight line area of the circuit where you've got that massive back straight that I think is going to be something the drivers might use to their advantage, potentially with a bit of fuel saving, because we do have some pit stops to worry about.
We absolutely do. I've tried to move the track map down for today, but seemingly it doesn't want to play ball. Unfortunately, I was just trying to shift it down a little bit earlier because it was one of the tiny things that we realised last time was being a bit of a pain in our backside. So yeah, as you can see, it doesn't want to move. I've just tried moving it again, so we're going to be without the track map tonight again. Sorry, sorry, James. I'll knock some money off. Top 2 in the session though at the moment. They're just sat in the pit lane, Ed. It's quite important really for these drivers to feel in the zone, and I feel that sometimes you can overdo it even in practice, can't you? You can put too many laps in and go chasing the lap time and get into maybe some bad habits and lose time based on what you're trying to chase. What do you reckon?
Yeah, and as well, you're not really out on the circuit with other cars in close proximity, so you lose that sense of battling in a pack that you will almost certainly be doing during the race. When you're off by yourself, you can have easier, clearer sight of the brake markers, and sometimes those markers that you use in practice can be obscured when following a car close behind during the race. So it's all about just being able to get a feel for it in traffic, and if you're out by yourself there, like you say, you can sometimes practice in the wrong way. But these drivers, they showed last time out that they have got what it takes to race nicely together with one another and still put out some very impressive lap times. I mean, we saw, I think it was the first race of the season where I think every driver managed to come across the line and finish, which was, I think, something that they hadn't seen before in the Evolution Sim Racing, which is a testament to how much the league itself has evolved, and also the drivers themselves have evolved as well, with managing, of course, the golden rule of sim racing, which is to finish first. First you must finish.
Absolutely, and it was a great opener at Interlagos, and there was a lot of time where Ed and I were still getting used to liveries and getting used to the teams and the drivers and so on, and we still will go through that. I mean, even in this session alone, we've got 48 drivers at the moment. That's a lot of people to look at, and we've got the 3 classes as well to consider. It's going to be another great night, though. Really looking forward to this, and we have solo qualifying about to get underway now. This was really exciting last time round, wasn't it, Ed? Because the drivers obviously take to the circuits on their own, and they have their own sort of mini session, so to speak, all within the same time frame and within the same time limit. But there's a bit more pressure because you're on your own, and I think we've discussed before that as a driver, I'm a bit better sometimes if I've got a physical target, a car in front of me to chase. But some drivers, they're sort of thriving when they're on their own, and they can just crack on, basically. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know where I would fit into that, because most of the time I've been racing on iRacing has been in league events where it has sort of an open qualifying session where all the drivers are out on the circuit together. I don't think I've done a close qualifying. Actually, no, I tell a lie. I have done a semi-close qualifying in one of your leagues, Chaz, actually, the Formula 1 Championship.
That rubbish.
Where you drive around by yourself at the start of the season, actually, when it was open qualifying. I actually did quite well for myself, didn't I? First round, put it on the front row. So
Indeed.
Maybe we've answered that. Maybe I am one of those drivers that does better when you've got a car, a target to chase, than when you're out by yourself. It's a lot harder. Maybe I'm with you on that one, Chaz.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's harder to. You can't see the numbers that you're chasing. Basically, is the sort of long and short of it. We ride on board here with Jean Breitenbach, the barbecue bread racing machine. The BMW is second overall in the championship. They technically don't have an overall championship here in the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship, which is good of them, to be fair, because it means that the drivers just focus on their own classes and their own drivers around them. It's not always the way on track, which is often very, very exciting, but it's just great to see that they acknowledge all the classes as equal as such. They don't spread it across an overall standings. Quick thanks to our championship sponsors, by the way. You can see the Kame logo there in the top right of the screen. We've also got Medius on board, as well as AB Designs and Keenan Eco Energy, the championship sponsors. Thanks also to the admins of the series for bringing Chaz Draycott Media on board in the form of Ed and I. We've really been enjoying ourselves so far, and I'm excited to see what this circuit makes these drivers get up to, really, because quite frankly, it's not a circuit I enjoy driving. It really isn't. I think the right cars around here or an endurance event is always good, so that's why this is going to suit it this evening, because GT3 cars are exciting and it's an endurance race. But I don't know what it is, Ed, but I just find it too clunky of a circuit for me. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I am with you. I love endurance racing, and most of the racing I do is that endurance style of things, multi-class as well. And this circuit I actually really love in a prototype, in sort of the new GTPs. It is very fun. You've got some very quick corners, then some sort of technical bits towards the end of the laps, maybe a little too technical potentially for Matt Barnes. He just loops the rear end but gets it up and running again. Move away from him and focus now on Paul Robson, who's about to start his first flying lap. In the prototypes, this thing is so fast and so fun, especially as well when you're multi-class and you can just swing it all the way around the outside, that sort of long sort of triple right-hander at the end of the lap, trying to go around the outside of a GT3 prototype. So fun. It's, again, the cars with the weight more towards the back seemingly struggling through those quick sort of right-lefts at the start of the lap.
Yeah, Paul Robson just went a little bit deep in one of those corners there, and there's such a consequence to it because it really does throw the car one way then the other. So it's really easy to overdo it one way and not be able to get it back again. Here is Reece Saunders, by the way. Reece back on the grid tonight. He's wearing the number 1 on the car for the Aura Motorsports Alpha team. Looks very, very menacing indeed, does the BMW. Pretty sure he's got a few teammates in the field as well. Christophe Demay, that's where we've seen this BMW before. I was going to say I thought I recognised it. He's got Caelan Bartlett as Aura Motorsports Omega. And I think, did they have another Omega driver as well? Actually, Ian Stitchbury drives for Aura Motorsports Alpha. Yes, the other Omega driver is Owen Seward. He's in the number 21 Lamborghini. with just the white highlights on the car instead of it being a fully black livery. Simon Cheshire back with us again tonight in the MRC 495 Porsche. Said he watched the broadcast back last week just to see how often he showed up, and because he was on screen once, he was happy. So here you go, Simon. Here's your moment of fame. But I mean, such a massive field, Ed. It's hard to know where to look, but where else can we look than the current championship leader, Troy Dolinchek, who did 2 for 2 at Interlagos, and he's going to set his lap time in just a moment.
Yeah, we can see him now. Nice line through that final corner. Really got over the curb on the inside, but it didn't unsettle the car. He seemed to know exactly where to hit it and where to run a little bit wide, and Dolinchek goes fastest by over a second. That is a very impressive time by Troy, and that leaves the others with a lot of time to go and chase. And I mean, these cars, they take a couple of laps to get fully up to temperature, especially in the tyres. I think you might see that time get even quicker, as I think that's Troy's teammate Tristan Dinabrega just going onto the front row alongside him, and then
Luke
their other teammate Luke Lucchese currently up into 3rd place.
Great stuff by the RDSA Esports guys. 1, 2 and 3 in the Porsches at the moment. More than half of the field hasn't completed a lap yet. Ashley Brooks is about to cross the line. Jamal Gandor is going to as well. And we've got James Pallett as well, teammate to, of course, Mr. Fretwell in the Ferrari. Lovely looking thing, except for the back. The the Racing League Hub 4, sorry, no, it's not even a 4, it's 296 GT3. Makes such a weird noise though. It doesn't make a Ferrari sounding noise. This is Mehmet Berat Akis, by the way. He makes his debut here this evening. He's been looking forward to getting on the circuit with us in the Forge Racing Porsche. He's just going through the first sector now, actually one way, then the other. This 992 looks so stable as a GT3 car. I think, to be fair, out of all the GT3 cars I've ever seen, whether it be in the sim or in real life, I'd say that the Porsches always do look the most stable out of all of them. There's always a lot of movement and a lot of body language about the other cars, but the 992 especially looks like Porsche's most flat GT3 car ever.
Seems very stiff, doesn't it? It doesn't have the same sort of body roll movement that you get in a lot of the other GT3s, and that can sometimes work against it, especially if you're hitting the curbs. It can become a little bit unsteady, and as well, we saw it, didn't we, earlier on actually, rear end just breaking away a little bit for one of the drivers coming through that first sector. At the times of any drivers improving, following John Ludbrook across the line. Not to set a time.
I was going to say,
there might have been a validation somewhere, and that has seen his lap not count.
He did a purple sector in the middle of the lap, which is what I was looking for, and he didn't benefit from it. Here's Rob McKee just coming around the final corner. 2 purple sectors for him and a green time, and he's 1.2 seconds clear at the top of the Evo class. That's great stuff. Reece Saunders goes 4th fastest. Lucchese has gone into 2nd. He's 6/10 off his teammate. Gareth Newton's about to cross the line as well in the Suma Lamborghini. He's done a purple final sector in his class, and he goes quickest by 75 thousandths of a second over McKee. Great effort that, and Randy Ayres is now trying to beat that as well. He crosses the line in the Porsche. He goes up to 3rd, but he's still over a second off the fastest time. Gianni Terhar goes quickest in the Premier class. Another Porsche up there, topping the times. It's the Lamborghini in the Evo class that is the one to beat at the moment. Engelstad's gone to the pit lane. He's done with that part of his session anyway. Trying to see who else we've got on laps here. There's Wesley Van Rens, actually, the Evo class championship leader, has only just come out onto the circuit to get his session underway. He has got about 12 minutes, but maybe one of those drivers that likes to see what his opponents have got up their sleeves first, Ed. There can be a bit of a mental advantage from doing that, can't there?
Yeah, there can be. A lot of drivers opting to go out, have the times that they need to chase already there for them and in front, not having to worry about, driver's going to improve, do I need to get a bit more? No, he knows exactly the task at hand, which should put him in good stead for good qualifying result. Just watching Thomas Pugh now for Barbecue Bread Racing, trying to get over the line, looking to improve, but I don't think there is any improvement coming through. He improves on his time, but not his position.
Indeed, no improvement there. Paul Calishaw has just crossed the line and has just put himself in 9th place outright, 8th place in his class. in the Suma Lamborghini. Still a lot of drivers that haven't set times. Marcel Breitenbach has just been off the road, I believe. I think he's just gone on the runoff around the right-hander, the triple apex right-hander. Saraka Dessler's just gone 5th in the Premier class, I can tell you. He's in there in the Porsche. Talavera behind him, and then Fretwell. Rob McKee's just done 2 purple sectors, but no improvements in the other parts of the lap, so it doesn't go quicker overall. We've got, Jovanovic is just off the road here in the Privateer Gold Ferrari towards the end of the lap. And this is his 3rd lap as well. The drivers do get just 3 laps, so unfortunately no lap counting for Jovanovic. I was talking to James Bostock, the league admin, earlier today, and he was saying that it's actually crazy how easily you can get an off-track around here, and a lot of drivers will have invalidated lap times. We look here at another driver that's not set a time yet, Matt Hoyland, and he's done 3 laps, so he's just using the rest of this now as almost practice, basically, to just get some extra laps in. There's loads of them. Joe Shapara, he's actually, no, he's just
get 4
starting.
laps, Chaz. They get 4 and 3.
My apologies.
So I think he's going to be now or never for
my apologies
for some of these drivers, like Jovanovic, who need to put time on right this moment.
Here's Joe Shapara. He's just come in to start his first lap now. Jamie Rees is about to complete a lap, though, for Alpha 1 Esports in the Porsche. Lovely looking thing, the Alpha 1 Esports livery. He's a little bit wide out the final corner, you could say. And that will not count that time round for Jamie. So he needs to start again. But we've got a good 10 or 11 drivers that haven't set times yet. Here's Dennis Kohler in the DXT Motorsports Porsche. His teammate Matt Hoyland as well, we were just looking at a moment ago. Both of the JSD Racing Team cars of Joe Shapara and Stephen Donnelly. They haven't set times. Caelan Bartlett either. Oh, he's just actually put a time in his Bartlett. Goes 10th fastest in the Evo class. But it's so lovely to see these amazing cars back out on circuit again. John Breitenbach is having a nightmare of a time, though. He is 12th in class and 17th overall at this point, Ed. He's not having a good time of it.
Oh, he is, and his teammate as well, Marcel Breitenbach, is yet to set a time, and he's done nearly 3 laps now. I think just coming over the line to set his 3rd, or put a 3rd lap onto the board. Is it going to be a valid one? To him over the line, and again, I don't think it is.
No.
Marcel Breitenbach yet to set a time, and this is his last chance to do so. Stefan Jovanovic as well needs to get this across the board. He's currently yet to set a time and is about to complete his 4th and final lap of the session. Currently not able to set a time in the Evo class. Comes over the line, and I don't think he's going to be setting a time either.
No, I don't think he is he? No, it's not come up with one, and yep, he's gone straight back. So, unfortunately, no time for him. But we have Ryan Ottens, who's just improved. Luke Lucchese, by the way, improved not long ago. But he's still nearly 6/10 off Troy Dolinchek, who is fastest in the elite class. Terhaar still ahead of Kruk, Engelstad. The grey names are basically those that are sort of not in the session as such, everybody. So they're the drivers that have completed their times. They've jumped out and quit for now, and we'll be watching the rest of the session go by. Alpha 1 Esports, Jamie Rees, just coming to the line now, throws the Porsche in. He's not going to go as wide as he did last time. Let's see what he can get on the board here in car 265. Across the line he goes. Jamie Rees goes 13th quickest in class. The bottom time of the elite class at the moment. 2.8 seconds off. He must have had a mistake somewhere. That's not representative.
Yeah, that was just to get a time on the board, and he's just going to be happy to be somewhere in the midfield. He wasn't looking to properly get up towards the top 10. It was more just get a time on the board, make sure he's not starting right at the back, and hope that he's got enough to go for it in the race. And I think now he's just carrying on just purely academical. He's not actually going to be setting a time. It's just about seeing where he could have came if he was, pushing and get the valid lap time on the board. Well, good to get some practice as well if you've been struggling with track limits. Getting into the rhythm of the race, making sure you can avoid those incident points and a potential disqualification from the session. I'm not entirely sure what the incident limit is, but it's always good to steer clear of as many as possible in these races.
I think somebody said it was really, really low, but I think they were just taking the mick. Part of me hopes they weren't, because it'd be great to see that it was the number that they said, but I'm not going to say it just in case. I'm looking through the rulebook as we speak to try and check as we continue to have
Incident
Jimmy
limit.
Reese.
Penalties every 10x, DQ 22x.
Wow, so it is as solid as you like, really. So, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the iRacing sort of penalty system, if you go outside of track limits, you usually get what they call a 1x. It means 1 times an incident point, basically. So it's just a 1 incident point on its own. Sometimes with this car contact, you can get 0 if you're just pushing each other and having a little bit of a bump. It will just notify you that you've made contact, and you'll get a 0. It can be 1 to 2, or it can be 4, and that can be for both of you as well. You can get 4 points for the car hitting and the car being hit. So all it'll take is 2 bits of contact and 2 off tracks, which are hard to avoid here at COTA, and you could be ending up with a drive-through penalty. We may see a number of them here tonight, I think, Ed. There's James Bostock. He's just crossed the line in 12th position in his class. Jamal Gandor in the Simsa Esports Mercedes. I said last week that it's a shame that the number boards are white and the numbers are also white, but the number's actually red and down just behind the front wheel, which is the number 186, sorry, for Jamal Gandor. Martin Kenyon in the chat, good to see you, mate. He's asking, do we have any Ford GTs in the field? Unfortunately not. I know a driver, Ethan Bass, usually runs the Ford GT for Orbit. I think it's Orbit Motorsport now. A team that's used to be Fitsty, used to be then... What was the other name for it? I'm sure there was another name before they were Orbit. But basically, Ethan Bass used to run that car pretty much everywhere that he could. I even raced it in an endurance race once with Tom Brooks, the Formula E commentator, with one of Jimmy Broadbent's events through COVID for charity. And everybody leading up to the event had said, oh yeah, we're all going to just run the Ford for a laugh. And guess what? We turned up out of a 40-something car field, and we were the only idiots that had actually turned up in the Ford in the end. But we had a laugh. Don't care. It was good fun.
Like being told that the party's fancy dress and you're the only one that turns up in a costume. Everyone else is wearing,
100%.
You're just up like a Smurf and everyone else is in the Sunday best.
Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. That's exactly how it felt. We had a laugh with it. I swore live on the broadcast and everything. It was great. What a day.
Love it.
What a day. They jumped in to interview us, to be fair, and didn't make themselves known until I shouted about how displeased I was with not making turn 1 with a lot of swearing in it. And poor Luke Crane and Chris McCarthy, they didn't know what to do with themselves. Still, session
Wesley
is...
Van Rens improving up to 3rd place in the Evo class.
Spin.
We've got some action out on circuit, Chaz, in and amongst the anecdotes. And
sorry.
Wesley Van Rens, he still has time to set another lap in.
He does. We're not going to go back to Joe Shapara because I think he just had a spin just then, unfortunately. So we're not going to go look at that. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt there, Joe. But yeah, you can see... Well, what were you saying about another time? Oh, nicely held, though. Nicely held by Wesley Van Rens. But goodness me, that's a scary old moment to have. But we're going to see a number of them, aren't we?
Yeah, that won't be the first or last time we see the cars threatening to swap ends. You do want to have the cars set up fairly loosely around here, low downforce, to make the most of those long back straights. But as a result, you get that instability from the sort of lesser wing angles and the sort of, I guess, everything to keep the car as quickly as possible down this section. Now you sacrifice a lot at the rest of the lap, and that's where the drivers find that instability, and potentially maybe some drivers that put a little bit more wing, sacrifice the speed down the straights, might benefit from just keeping it out on the circuit, keeping it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly a lot of angles to go at for a qualifying session. It does seem very simple on the surface, but there's a lot of mental games go on in sessions like this, especially when you are out there on your own. So the drivers need to think about it a lot. Like this is a bit of a mental game here by Tristan Dino Brega. He's just sat there, obviously, just pondering what is with the Porsche. He's heating it up. That's what he's doing. But it looks like he's just got most of the way around his lap and he's decided that is that. Jamal Gandor is still going, but he's done more than is necessary lap-wise. So none of the laps that he completes now will count towards times. They're just simply going to be used as a bit of extra practice, basically. Comes across the line once again. And because of the way that the ticker works in our timing software, we don't know how many laps he's done. Because it gets to 4, and then when he goes past that, it just says 4 again. So he could have done all manner of number of laps.
He's just done 6.
Oh, right.
Because I have the ability to go into the standard iRacing menu and not upset our broadcast graphics. You can see that he's done 6 laps and is currently on his 7th.
He's doing
So
well
he's
then.
certainly getting his money's worth for track time around here.
Why not? Why not? We'll go on board with him. We'll get our money's worth and all. Jamal Gandor throwing it through this first sector, and you can see there's so many corners of all different shapes and angles here. It's a real nightmare, and there's blind apexes and exits like that there, which can really throw drivers off. That's one of the most sort of common places to get an off-track, isn't it, Ed? As you go over that crest there, you can get it on the right on the exit.
Yeah, you can do. It's so difficult to judge where the car is going to come out with the sort of the angle you're attacking. Sometimes the rear can get a little bit loose and that'll spit you out wider as well. But talking about what you say, the different sort of corner angles, this is a real Tilkodrome if ever there was one. This and I think the Yas Marina Bay circuit that they have in the Formula 1 is another one of those sort of Tilko, where you have to get every single type of corner in on a single circuit, as we have now. Linus Collar just sitting serene, the calm before the storm, which is to be round 3 of this wonderful championship. I'll tell you what, Chaz, that qualifying session, it was not quite the same as what we were expecting to see after the opening round at Interlagos, was it?
No, it didn't feel as busy. It's strange, but I think because of how long the lap is, the majority of the field got out there as soon as they could. So everybody was putting laps in around the same time, and then we had a few, I'm not going to call them stragglers, but a few drivers that wanted to just sort of do their own thing and wait a little bit later. Now let's have a look at a grid, shall we? Because this is how they're going to line up for round 3 of the championship. Troy Dolinchek, pole position once again, from his teammate Luke Lucchese in second position. Tristan Dinobrega will line up in third with Ryan Ottens alongside him on the second row. South African drivers 1, 2, 3 and 4. Rhys Saunders wearing number 1 for this season. He lines up in 5th place with Yannis Albert in 6th. Thomas Pugh is 7th. Gianni Terhar is the fastest in the Premier class. You can see that with the little yellow stripe next to his name. We then have Paul Cowlishaw in 9th ahead of Nathan Crook. Yayan Stitchbury is 11th with Jean McLuhan alongside him on row 6. Then we have Christophe Demay in 13th. Tristan Engelstad is next up. Joe Glass and Matt Hoyland make up row 8, ahead of Jean Breitenbach and Hussein Sarakadesla in 18th. We then have Javier Talavera in the Howell Motorsport Ferrari, alongside Matt Barnett in 20th place. Alex Fretwell is next up. He is actually starting 9th on the grid in the Premier class, so he's got quite a bit of work to do to get up to where he was in the first couple of rounds. He's got Matthew Jones alongside him on row 11. Scott Kostrick is next up in 23rd, with James Bostock joining him on the 12th row. Then we have William Alcala III in 25th alongside Jamal Gandor. And then we have the first of our Evo class drivers, Gareth Newton and Rob McKee, on row 14. They've got Jack Wyborn next up and Jamie Rees, the elite class driver, 13th in class, 30th overall. Watch out for him making his way through. Wesley Van Ren's championship leader is 31st, with Randy Ayres in 32nd. Following them is Simon Cheshire, Paul Robson, Graham Matthew and Robin Aston on row 18. And then Danny Weir, Mehmet Barat Akers with James Pallett, Russell Jacques, Jean Ludbrook, Marcel Breitenbach, Caelan Bartlett, Sean Clark, Ashley Brooks, Owen Seward, Joe Shapara and Stephen Donnelly, with then the final row, Dennis Collar and Stevan Jovanovic. Very busy stuff, Ed. We have our championship leader starting on the very front row of the grid, Troy Dolinchek, with his teammate alongside him, 2 teammates following him. Surely that's rear gunner territory, and he's going to feel really confident.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, this is just, again, a bit ominous, isn't it? I think for the rest of the drivers, just seeing RDSA Esports locking out the first, second and third spots on the grid. See Ryan Ottens there in the mix, looking to see what he can do, get up into the battle. I think last time it was Yannis Albert that was the driver trying to take the fight to RDSA, and I think now it's Ryan Otten's turn to see what he can do to maybe throw a little bit of an upset in the mix for this 1 hour race that is about to get underway. Just waiting for the drivers to get through the final couple of corners, and then green light and off we go.
Absolutely. It's going to be a busy start, this. There's going to be a lot going on, so we need to keep our eyes on everything that we possibly can and see whether we can somehow put it all into words. We ride on board here with Yannis Albert in the Lamborghini, 7th on the grid for Yannis. He's not going to be over the moon with that qualifying. Although, actually, no, sorry, he's going to be starting 6th on the grid. It's just he slotted behind the driver in front of him for just a second. So, Troy Dolinczek leads his teammates Luke Lucchese and Tristan Dino Brega around the final corner. And round 3 in Season 4 of the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship is about to get underway. When the lights come on the screen, we will be go. Listen to the revs rise and let's watch them roar. What a great getaway that was by Troy Dolinczek. Looked like a few drivers have already benefited in the background as well, actually, on some of them taking a bit of a tame entrance up towards turn 1. Let's keep our eye on some of the mayhem, see if anybody has a bit of a go. The car stopped on the inside line. A little bit of contact there between one of the Porsches and one of the... Actually, there was another Porsche involved, actually, wasn't there? There's a bit of a traffic jam at the top of the hill. Everyone trying to recover. Oh, no, there was more contact. Joe Shapara was tipped to the right. I don't think he saw the other car. And Jamie Rees had a terrible qualifying for his class, and he's now off the circuit and in the wall. Simon Cheshire as well. I know he wanted airtime, but flipping heck, Simon. He's been off the circuit, rejoins, tries to slot in with the pack. He's got quite a lot of damage on the right-hand side of that Porsche. But perfect start for Troy Dolinczek and his teammates there, Ed. 1, 2, 3 still with Ryan Ottens in 4th.
Yeah, it's a very nice start for Troy, and also a nice start further down the field as well for William Alcala. Twin Turner Racing Porsche. He's currently up 8 places.
That's gorgeous as well.
At one point, he was actually up 10. He had such a good start. He's got a fair whack in the rear end there, as you can see, a bit of a bend of the LED sort of strip rear sort of brake light on. So that's a sign that he's probably been in the wars a little bit to get those 8 places. Paul Robson down 9, so he's had an issue in this AHR Motorsport Porsche. Lots of drivers benefiting and also losing out just in the sort of frenetic opening few corners and cool tyres. That might also be reasons why certain drivers are struggling a bit more.
Yeah, very busy part of the race, of course, as it naturally is, but because there's so many classes, you've always got to try and sort of filter your way through as best you can and just try and stay out of trouble. But you've got so many other drivers trying to benefit all around you from anyone's little mistakes. You can all easily sort of fluidly fill a gap and make contact by complete accident, and it does happen. At the end of the day, it's motorsport. You know, there's never going to be motorsport without contact. These things happen. Unfortunately, we've just had Caleb Bartlett have a bit of a moment further back here. He's just getting going in the Porsche. Lovely to hear it go all the way up the revs then. That sounded fantastic. We've got Reece Saunders making a move on Ryan Ottens into turn 1. This 8.7 kilometre wide circuit. Oh, Ryan says no thank you. Have one of them. All the way over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Yanis Albert says, yeah, go on then, through here, 2x2. Not the best idea, but you know what? We've seen Yanis, haven't we? He does not get scared of anything, and he has absolutely sent it through there. But wow, look how much Reece closed up to him then. Got very close to the back end of the Lamborghini, trying to scare Yanis however he possibly can. Manages to stay in front, does Yanis. Well, that was really close stuff between him and Ryan Ottens there, wasn't it? That was almost scary.
That was, especially at the rate of knots they were going. This is how it all unfolded. It was Reece Saunders going to go for it on Ryan Ottens towards turn 1 a little bit
cheeky.
Cheeky, yeah, that move. You can actually then see a little bit cheeky right back at him. Not quite as aggressive as it looked from outside, I think. The car sort of moving over to the left-hand side naturally, as it would do to move through the right-hander. And then look at that cheeky little dive up the inside. Yanis Alba, that little Lamborghini, just launched itself up the inside. A nice whack on the curb as well. I thought that was where Yanis was actually going to lose control of the car, because when the car sort of springs back down, it bottoms out. And I was worried that with the weight transfer going through the next left-hander, it was going to take him out. But it seemed to be fine enough for him to keep that position. Here we have Matt Hoyland, who's currently 3rd in the Premier class, just with Joe Glass for a little bit of company there. We saw the two of them get pretty close together into the braking zone, but it's a long race. They don't necessarily need to fight for positions right away, because there's a lot of racing still to go.
James Pallett has just had a bit of a spin, unfortunately. Gets back going again in the Ferrari. Now we are going to go back in time and have a quick look at the start of the race and try and pick apart what happened at the beginning a bit further down here. So there's a check-up there, actually. There was a little bit of a check-up anyway, by the look of it, just ahead of them. And most of the field had come to a stop there. One of the drivers involved was Joe Shapiro, and he was actually behind all of this, so we're going to go on to a chopper cam. Might be a little bit loud. Joe's all the way over to the left-hand side. Let's see if we can see anything from on here, actually, from on the roof of the car. There's a few cars spawning in and out, and you can see everyone's sort of come to a stop on the apex. Joe's on the inside, and oh, there is just a tiny bit of contact in front, and everyone stops, but then Joe gets going, doesn't see there's a car to his right, and then unfortunately gets tipped across into the barrier. It's one of the slowest accidents we've seen. And second place in the championship, Ed, John Breitenbach. Well, he's just been in the wall hard, and he's out of the race. He's jumped back into the pits.
Flipping out, we just missed that while watching through the opening lap, and we'll have a look here, just what happens to John.
Oh, he's just going to hit a curb or do something on his own, is he? Oh, no, it's gone. Oh, no, and then it's not going to stop either. Oh, and it's a side-on impact. Oh, no.
We're gone. It's hit in such an awkward place. It wasn't a massive sort of impact in terms of velocity, but from where it hit, it was that right rear tyre that's just been sort of knocked out of step. Stephen Donnelly, that's a big incident there for Mercedes. Have a look here as it's just going through. Is it turn 3 where it just comes unstuck?
Oh, there's a car in front. Oh, no, and he got on the brakes to sort of compromise for that car. It's a good thing Breitenbach moved, actually. Oh, no, he was a bit further down, wasn't he? But, yeah, wow. We've now got another drama. Owen Stewart's off the road. This is, I mean, we knew it was always going to be like this. It's an hour-long race, this. Pit stops involved as well. But at the front, it's all seemingly calm where Troy Dolinschek is. He's in the Porsche. He's got clean air in front of him. And he is absolutely cracking on. The championship leader doing great things already in this race. Another lovely addition to iRacing, actually, Ed. You can see it if you just keep an eye on Troy's right hand there on the wheel. They've now finally animated the driver actually sort of flicking the paddles in the sim. It's a little bit delayed from when they actually do it, but... Oh, he's not going to do it. Come on, Troy, change gear. Just do it for us. Do it for a laugh. No, he's not going to. Still, they've actually animated it now, which is lovely to see. We've got a battle going on here. Paul Cowlishaw, Nathan Crook, who is second in the Premier class. Gianni Terhar, just in front of them, is the one that... Oh, well, they were trying to chase, but Christophe Demise just hit the back of Nathan Crook, and the two of them are off the road and have to wait for the field to get through. I'm not sure if Nathan was trying to slow down a little bit. There's been a drama from Matt Barnett as well. Nobody wants to do well through this first sector, do they, Ed? Flipping out.
You can really see why the drivers load this circuit. It's just that first sector that seems to be everyone's undoing. It doesn't matter what class you're in, what you are rating, what level of driver you're supposed to be or believed to be based on your class. Everyone is in the same boat and struggling. You can see here Christophe Demay just really catches up to the rear end of the Porsche. Can't really do a whole lot about it if you get on the brakes to try and avoid it. Well, we saw it happen, didn't we, to the Mercedes. I think that was of Stephen Donnelly when you try and get on the brakes. It just breaks away from you. So Demay did the right thing. He wasn't attacking. He was lifting off, trying to let the speed come down naturally. And now, well, look at all in the thick of it here. Javier Talavera. That was a very nice livery actually for Howell Motorsport. I don't think we saw that out on track at Interlagos, did we, Chaz? That's very
We
nice.
saw it in the wall at Interlagos because he was involved in the pile-up at the start of the race. He was one of the drivers that made it through really safely and really well. And then somebody rejoining in front of him was the one that took him out, unfortunately, which is a massive shame. But we've got the battles going on in front between Javier Talavera and Nathan Crook was second in the Premier class before all of that. You can see the overall standings on the left-hand side, but you can see the different colours signifying what class the drivers are in. We've got Rob McKee, who we jump on board with here, leading in the Evo class at the moment. Randy Ayres is second. Wesley Van Rens, the current class championship leader, is in third. But they've got a car between them, which is Scott Kostrick in the KM Racing Porsche just behind. Very lively, busy livery on Scott's machine. Talavera's actually into the pits. Not quite sure what's... Oh, and he's missed his box now as well. Wonder whether he's doing that to get out of traffic. I'm not sure. Well, there's loads going on once again here, Ed. It's Dolinschek leading the way in Elite. We've got Terhar leading in Premier and McKee leading in Evo. And more battles up and down the order. This is Fretwell in 17th ahead of Christophe Demay, who's trying to gain places again after his little off.
Yeah, Christophe Demay, you'll expect him to make some quick plays up through the field, being in the Elite class. Let's try was in the Premier, but still, they aren't. There's nothing in the rules that says they have to move out of the way, is there, Chaz? They are allowed to battle out on the circuit. Obviously, the nature of the championship, the way it's structured, the way you score points, sort of incentivizes drivers to not fight for positions into class, sort of outside of the class in terms of the overall track position, but still, if drivers want to have a scrap, they're more than entitled to.
Yeah, definitely. We've got this great battle going on a bit further up, actually. Ian Stitchbury's just in front of Jean McLuhan, who is now a privateer in this championship, actually. It looks like he's still in the Glass Tech livery, but he's got Fly Navy branding on the machine. He's got Matt Hoyland and Joe Glass behind him, actually, as well. There is Joe, following on. So it does still look like they're teammates, and to be fair, even the car in front of them as well, the DXT Motorsports machine, that's got sort of golden highlights on a matte black car as well, so it looks like a trio of teammates, but none of them are actually teammates, to be fair. It sort of looks like Jean's just taken the livery and stuck Fly Navy branding on it, and either that or he's not updated on trading pages, I don't know. Still, the bunch of them are all together. We've got Tristan Engelstad in this as well, and the Mercedes just behind, so it's very much Mercedes bookending this quintet of cars. But these guys are now trying to settle into a stint, I imagine, just to see where they're at before they then consider what the fuel situation is going to be like in the long run. Up into turn one they go, and it looks like actually down the inside Matt Hoyland goes to make a move on Jean McLuhan. Doesn't get it done this time. Sorry, it was John actually making a move on Ian Stitchbury. Those two are fighting each other in the same class as well. And these guys behind, these three drivers are in the Premier class. So Hoyland in second place in that class. Then Joe Glass, then Tristan Engelstad. Tristan having to be the most patient of all of them here as he watches these Porsches weave this way and that way in front of him. Ooh, a little bit of a kiss there from Glass to Hoyland, but again, you wouldn't think of this circuit as a place where you had to be sort of considerate of moments like that, really, Ed, but it's that flow in and that single line that it's very easy to, well, go deep like that.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking, weren't we, as well, about how it's the time when the driver's probably going to settle into a stint. No, they aren't. We saw that they were going side by side up into turn one, and they've carried on the party now all the way for the remainder of the lap. Just Engelstad nearly got a little bit too late on the brakes into the rear end of Joe Glass. But while all of this battling is going on in the Premier class, Gianni Tahar out in front, he's going to be loving this. Currently championship leader and looking to extend his advantage even further. It has been a very interesting opening couple of rounds for the Quad Dash Racing, and they certainly have a championship to fight for. Maybe as well the two teammates could have a sort of battle as well, which makes it all the more spicy, doesn't it, Chaz, when you get the two teammates fighting for one championship?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good fun. I mean, we know how that ends. Look at 2014 to 2016. It's always exciting when you have teammates sort of inter-team battling. But to be fair, Ian Stitchbury, Joe Glass actually comes into the pits and gets himself out of this. But Ian Stitchbury seems almost unfazed at the moment by what's going on around him. But one man that will be unfazed at this moment is Gianni Tahar, who currently, for Quad Dash Racing, leads the class. He'll be very happy with that as well. He comes into this race meeting with the championship lead by just 1 point over Alex Fretwell. Alex is down in 6th position in class as well, so he's certainly going to be gaining a bunch of points on him here, which will help him in their championship fight. Wesley Van Rens is now 3rd in the Evo class in this race, but it's this man, Rob McKee, that leads the way. Rob comes here 4th in the championship, 36 points back. He's just behind, actually he's tied with Russell Jacques as well in this championship. Now Russell is in 4th place in the class for MRC 493, so that'll certainly change that one. Gareth Newton is another driver that will be hoping to get points on these guys out of this, but he's 10th in class at the moment, actually. Gareth's 2nd in the championship. This night is not going his way so far at all.
No, and actually I was having a look at the championship standings just to see what was happening in the elite class, if there were any drivers that might be like sort of reducing sort of the amount of points they're going to lose to Dolinchek. But pretty much all of Dolinchek's main rivals are having a torrid time of things. I mean, John Breitenbach, he's way out of the running, all the way down towards the tail end of the overall field. Currently, as we can see, 13th in class, 49th overall. Then we would have to look at Christophe Demay, who's also sort of joint 2nd place on 80 points. He's having a terrible time as well. We saw him just earlier, didn't we, have a little bit of a tussle with one of the Porsches.
Yeah, Nathan Crook it was.
It was Nathan Crook, yeah, thank you. And then having a look elsewhere as well. I mean, John McLuhan, he's stuck in that battle, isn't he? Currently in 11th place in class. So, or 10th place in class, sorry, 11th overall. His main rivals are really down and out of the order.
Yeah, definitely. Hoyland just jumps into the pits, by the way. We've only done 15 minutes of this race, so I'm really intrigued to see what the drivers are doing here with their strategies, because obviously this is the first time Ed and I have commentated on one of their endurance races, so this is going to be new to us and getting used to what's normal and what's not. Ed and I do usually commentate on a GT series using GT4 cars that has hour-long races with a limited amount of fuel. But obviously it's a complete different kettle of fish in this series, different cars, different circuits, and obviously a bunch of different drivers who will all approach things in all manner of ways. I want to say hello to Aidan Melward, who's graced us with his presence in the chat. He says there's Porsches everywhere, and there absolutely is, my friend, but what a wonderful car to look at and listen to, eh? The 992. Absolutely amazing bit of kit. We ride on board here with Hussein Sarakadesla. He's just ahead of Alex Fretwell and Nathan Crook, about 0.6 of a second cover these three. Fretwell needs to be careful here because he wants to get championship points to hold on to that second place in the standings. And 5th place is not going to cut the mustard for him at the moment, is it, Ed?
Not at the moment. Needs to get a bit more of a shift on, especially, like you say, the two Quadrash championship rivals that he's having to battle with, both up ahead of him and scoring very good championship points currently. Joan Tahar and Tristan Engelstad at 1 and 2. I mean, it was basically the first two races were Quad Dash, both on the podium, with that Alex Fretwell, sort of Fretwell liveried Ferrari up alongside them, wasn't it? Either in the lead or in second place. The two of them were battling for a majority of the running at Interlagos. Now you need to think, is Alex going to try maybe not going for the on-track position, but rather maybe a strategy call, saving the fuel?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of cars around him that he can use to his advantage in that respect.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what's beautiful about these races. You know, there's so many more angles for you to come at them from as a driver. There's a lot more to think about rather than just out-and-out pace and sprinting. So it always keeps it very exciting. Rhys Saunders here in the BMW M4 makes his way up towards turn 1. He's got Thomas Pugh behind him. Just ahead is Yanis Albert, who's only about 0.6 of a second off Ryan Ottens. There's a bit of lap traffic there, which is the Ferrari of Stevan Jovanovic. He's now unlucky for the Lamborghini, just in his way, but that's part and parcel of it, I suppose, in these sorts of races. Thomas Pugh is flashing the lights, but there he goes through on the left-hand side. Wasn't really much that the Ferrari could do there, to be fair. Jovanovic was just running his own line, running his own race. That's part of traffic racing, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. It's just, again, it's not just you on the circuit by yourself, is it? We've been talking about that in practice and qualifying, that sometimes you can over-prepare on a circuit without any other drivers on there, and then when you get put into traffic, it can sort of upset certain drivers more than others in terms of the rhythm that they're going at. So see how they can all navigate it and get through. But we'll have a look for an incident involving Matt Barnett. Again, already a little bit loose. We saw a tiny little wiggle on the way into there.
Oh, my.
It becomes an airplane crash over the sausage curb there. Big impact, and I think that might be Matt Barnett's race over and done with.
We're going to just see how that looked on board. Oh, gets the tail out there, and that's what's going to have heated up the tyre really quickly. Look, he tries to break away there, turns it too early. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, I'd have let go of the wheel a long time ago. Flipping out. That is a massive, massive accident. Joe Shapara has also had a bit of a drama. Oh, he's stopped on the start-finish straight. Maybe he's doing a practice start, who knows. But unfortunately, that looks like Matt Barnett's race out of contention. Also the same for Joe Shapara. Oh no, there's contact. That's Crook again. Nathan, no. Lights it up, spins it around. Luckily, it turns out to be a really good rejoin in terms of timing. Not ideal to jump across the apex like that, but I suppose he would have had a quick look at his relative and cracked on with it. But we've seen that, you know, Nathan has said he's inexperienced with sim racing, and he's got himself in a few sticky situations in the couple of rounds that we've commentated on him on. Looks like the Porsche Cup right now, doesn't it? So many of them around him. James Bostock in there as well. Jack Wyborn trying to get in on this. Crook decides, oh no, he's entered the pit lane, but that's late. That's going to be an unsafe entry as well. Not his finest hour for Nathan Crook.
A lot of the drivers that came in early might have got on penalties that he had to serve right away. We saw a lot of action. That little loop around counts as a loss of control incident limit as well. So where did they have the incident? Sort of get into the spin, the contact, but then also the I think loss of control counts as a 2 incident limit infringement as well.
Well, it's all part of the fun and games. It's fun and games at the front if you're RDSA Esports, because Troy Dolinshek leads the way by 3.9 seconds over his teammate Luke Lacasey. There he is. And then Tristan Dino Brega is next up. There's actually not a battle behind, but that was Ryan Otton's going past some lap traffic, I believe. That's one of the Glass Tech racing cars of Ashley Brooks, one of the championship sponsors as well, AB Designs. He's then got, I think, Yanis Albert just behind him. We've got a battle going on still with Nathan Crook. He's got Gareth Newton in the Evo class, and then Jamie Rees next up. These guys all in different classes, and I mean, Jamie's Porsche looks like it's been through, well, a lot. Let's just put it that way. Looks like he met an aircraft carrier that it didn't like or something. That is really one messed up Porsche. It's the 992.5. But I hardly imagine that those aerodynamics are enhanced from the standard car. We've also got Scott Kostrick and Matthew Jones having a battle here as well. This is for 16th and 17th in their class. Oh, Jones very wide through the left-hander there. We go further up the order once again here. Nope, wrong car, Chaz. Robin Aston has just overtaken Wesley Van Rens. He's 3rd in the Evo class. To be fair, Ed, it's a bit of damage limit. Well, not even damage limitation. It's only round 3, but he's just playing the safe game here, Wesley, isn't he? He doesn't need to jump away and do anything over the top. He's 23 points clear in the championship. He's still ahead of Gareth Newton by quite a while, so not a bad place to be in for Wesley.
No, it isn't. He's certainly in sort of the best position you could be hoping for. I mean, that obviously would be leading his class, but I'll take 3rd place as a good sort of alternative to that, and nice and comfortable. No cars too close behind. No real cars to worry about up ahead as well. Just keep on going, and those are very important championship points. And these are the sort of races that can make drivers champions. It's just going through, and well, it might not be the most exciting race in the world. Those points become so important later down the line when it gets to crunch time. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, we've both seen, whether it be in real world or whether it even be in the likes of sim racing, you can have championships that are decided by 1 point. So if you can score 2 points in a round over your nearest rival, not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Good day at the office, if anything. This is Ian Stitchbury, with just behind him John McLuhan. 2 of them over the crest of the hill. The highest placed driver that's made a pit stop at the moment is Matt Hoyland, by the way. He currently runs 10th in his class. There's been a drama for Gareth Newton here, Ed. Gareth's had a problem. Scott Kostrick has had a problem as well. This is what happened to Gareth. Oh no, that's Gandor coming out the pit lane. And oh no, Kostrick's hit him. Now, I mean, I don't like to be the sort of like live stewarding to put blame on anybody, but I mean, Gandor was well in his right to be there. I think Gareth thought that he'd just cleared him, to be honest. He goes for the apex and around it goes.
Just looks like it again.
Yeah.
Misinterpreting where the cars would be, and
yeah,
there's something that a lot of the time, if you haven't raced around codes before, that pit exit, it does put you basically right into harm's way.
It does.
When you come in towards turn 1, so that's something that I think, and just catching some of the drivers out there.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Marvin in the chat saying, do I hear my favourite commentator, who is also a master in driving and commentating on his own race? I don't know, Ed, do you do that very often?
I don't know if I drive and commentate. I mean, I listen to broadcasts and drive around.
Oh, you're one of them nut jobs.
Well, I am. You know well and truly that I'm that sort of nut job.
Yeah, you flash the lights when I talk about you.
I flash my lights whenever I hear you speaking about me.
Careful how you word that, Ed.
Talking smack.
Always. Oh, well, we've not been talking any smack about William Alcala III, because he had an amazing start for this race, actually, but a little spin there just shows you how easy that is to do, even in the middle of a stint. The cars do change quite a lot over a stint here on iRacing. Obviously, the tyres wear down, the fuel gets lighter. I say that like it doesn't happen anywhere else or in real life, but you know what I mean. They can very easily feel the effects. As are we about to see another Lamborghini have a bit of a difficult time? This is Owen Seward, and oh, Reece Saunders decides that he doesn't like the Lamborghini being on his right-hand side. Don't think there was anything particularly untoward about what Reece did, but a simple matter of the fact he didn't leave enough room.
It's a simple matter of fact that he's in a BMW and is in a Lamborghini.
Everything bounces off it.
There's only going to be one winner in the meeting of those two cars, isn't there? And it is, well, it's certainly going to be that big tower block of flats on wheels. That lovely, lovely BMW GT3
Oh, come
car.
on, get over it.
People don't like it. I love it.
It's horrible.
I like it. I mean, I've got weird taste because I also don't really find the Ferraris that horrible.
It was that in the background. Was that? Oh, was that Owen Stewart again? Owen Stewart's had a couple of spins in this race.
Terrible time of things, especially.
Oh,
no, it is.
It wasn't Owen. It wasn't Owen in the background that we saw going off. Then I can tell you that for free. So Owen's had. He's sort of staying out of the way. Now he's got up to pace.
I think the car's still unsteady from the impact he's had.
Oh, and it's the other BMW. It's the other. It's the same. It's the teammate of the other car. Oh my God, Owen's getting knocked about all over the place here.
7 bells
Poor
being
Owen.
taken out of him.
I mean, I'm not quite sure about what happens here. But it seems like there's some sort of problem. I mean, if we go on board, oh yeah, it's not driving straight. To be fair, you just. Oh my God. I feel really sorry for him. It looked like he came right, but look, the steering's not straight, and then you'd be wondering, what have you done? Because that's 8 incident points right there.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything to the Discord. I've just had a look and seen if he's upset anyone.
He's still on track.
He's as good as gold.
Poor Owen.
Not, I mean, before the race. I meant before the race. He didn't say anything to upset the drivers, but no, he's been as good as gold. So.
To be fair, I think if anyone was upsetting the drivers in Discord before the race, it was me telling them how rubbish Macau is. But anyway, Mehmet Murat-Akas here is in a fight with Simon Cheshire. Good battle between these two Porsches. Simon's car's a little bit beaten up at the front end, to be fair. But we've got this lovely shot now from the roof as they go through the winding section. Left, then right, then left, then right again. And look at that. Akas has really caught him up. But again, there's nowhere to go. And it's so difficult to get the car stopped from hitting the guy in front. He's just got to sit and just wait. Is he going to look down the inside? No, he's going to try and line himself up for a run on the exit here on Simon. Simon looks like he's aware of it. Akas can only go around the outside. Simon's put the car in the right place there. Great little battle going on between these two, though, in the Porsche 911 992 GT3Rs. And down the inside goes Akas into the hairpin. I think this is actually deja vu. I think we saw him do this not too long ago as well. He's down the inside. Now they've got the run down the long straight towards another hairpin at the bottom. Sun glinting off the rear wing of this 992. Great rear wing on it and all. I love the shape of this one. Much prefer it to the 991. Back end of that car is beautiful. Simon Cheshire's on the inside line, though, and it's the favoured line into there because you can just run it out wide if you get in front, and he's done very, very well. Cracking stuff. We've got some cars coming in now, Ed. Paul Cowlishaw, Tristan Engelstad is in as well. Ryan Stitchbury also into the pit lane, so we've got a few of them making their way down. There goes the Mercedes and another one. 222 of Ryan Stitchbury. We've got Hussein Saraka Desler, William Alcala 3. So these guys making their way down there. Interesting different tactics, actually, when you're coming into the pits. Some people do stay in the fast lane and then sort of pull across to the left. Other drivers get straight in where the crews are, which I find really strange to watch. And then they sort of just wait for their box to arrive in front of them directly. I suppose you don't have to worry about sort of peeling in then, do you?
Yeah, it also helps breaking a straight line for your pit box as well. Can help to get the car slowed down quicker, obviously. In the sim, you don't need to worry about driving through stationary cars because in the pit lane they sort of go through them. So it isn't like it is in real life where you have to stay in a certain lane and then as you approach your pit box, that's when you cut inside. Some drivers prefer different ways. I guess it's whatever they're used to, really, mainly using in the sims, which way you approach it. There isn't a big difference either way, but sometimes drivers like to try and find every tenth they can in the pits because it can be the difference between making a position or losing out.
I'm just going to quickly go back a moment here and we're going to try and have a look at what on earth has just happened to Reece Saunders, because I think there was a car in front of him that's just had a bit of a drama here. Either that or Reece has had a problem. He's just lost a load of time. Troy Dolinchek, race leader, has just come into the pits, by the way. Oh, that's what happened to Reece. The back end of the BMW went, the most stable car in the world. Back onto the circuit.
Yeah, that was very weird. Is it?
Yeah.
Was it as soon as he turned it went, or
I don't know. It was really strange, wasn't it? Oh yeah, it's gone straight away. Whoa, it's a good
It's
save
a bit
to
off
be
camber,
fair.
isn't it, that corner as well, though? That might have also upset the rhythm of the BMW a bit, but very strange.
Well, pit party. Absolute pit party. You can see, look, Troy Dolinchek, even though he's got quite a convincing lead, he's still saving those extra hundredths of a second by pointing the car in the right direction. Out of the pit lane he goes. You can hear his teammates revving it up. Luke Lucchese next up out. Tristan Dino Brega is going to get going, although Ryan Ottens has jumped him. He's beaten him out of the pit lane. Yanis Albert has also made a position up, so these guys are now going to be fighting for a podium place. And Tristan has dropped the ball a little bit there on pit exit. Interesting. It does say his pit lane time was 3 seconds, so I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, whether he was revving it and then it wouldn't go into gear or something. But Tristan is now in 5th position. He's got Jack Wyborn not far behind him. Jack is yet to pit though, and he's inherited the lead in the Premier class. Randy Ayres also in the pit lane from the lead of his class as well. There he is in the Porsche. Where is Russell Jacques? Because he is the highest place of those that's pitted at the moment, so he will inherit the lead.
Very nice for Russell Jacques at the moment. I don't know if he'll be able to stay out in the lead of the race, but potentially it could be very nice for him, obviously getting some clear track to throw out.
Well, will he?
Randy Ayres
no, Randy's
has just come out.
Randy's gone.
he's swanned off, hasn't he?
Yeah, bye mate. Well,
that's a good place as well for Randy to be. Nice,
yeah.
Comfortable space in front and behind as well. 3 seconds to the car ahead, 3 seconds to the car behind. They're not actually for like class position, but still gives them a nice bubble just to focus on the outlap and look after the tyres.
Yeah, definitely. He'll be really pleased with that one. Top stuff. There's been a change here. Simon Cheshire and Joe Glass having a good old fight. Joe on the back of the Porsche now that he gets the run out of the hairpin. Where's he going to go with this one? We'll ride on board. God, the motion blur makes it look even faster down here. Over 200 kilometres an hour, pulls out to the right-hand side. It's going to be a big, heavy braking zone in a minute. We're already halfway through this race somehow, Ed. I don't know where that's gone. But still, onto the brakes we go. You can see him in the mirror. You can see that he's still there down the inside. Joe gives him plenty of room. Cheshire says, no, thank you. I'll have a bit of that. We saw him do the same earlier, didn't we, when he was having another fight. He was holding on really well then as well. Ian Stitchbury's just behind these two. Now he's in the elite class while these guys are in the Premier class. Look at the different lines into these tight twisting corners. It is one of the good things about COTA, to be fair, Circuit of the Americas. It's the fact that there's so many different types of corners. And look at that, Joe Glass down the inside of Cheshire, throws it through the triple apex right-hander. Wow, he just found a load of speed through there, and that's brilliant, brilliant stuff. Maybe just Simon not as committed through there that time round.
Maybe not. It was, again, just a battle of who was the more committed, and in that case it was Joe Glass, but some very racy drivers out there after the sort of middle phase of the race, isn't it? We tend to get it in these sort of longer 1 hour races where you get a lot of action at the start, then it gets into a lull, then the pit stops happen, then there's all sorts of action activity, and then it calms down a bit, and then when you get to the end of the race, all of a sudden it just explodes back into life again. So we're in that middle phase where the drivers are properly going at each other. To be fair, everywhere throughout the field there was always some battle going on, so points I don't think drivers ever really stopped battling away, did they?
Well, Simon Cheshire's just come into the pit lane now, and Mehmet Barakakis is also in the pits. I wonder if Simon... I don't know, actually. No, he's had a full-length pit stop by the look of it. I was just wondering whether he got a drive-through penalty, because the way he let the other driver through said to me that sort of he knew something that we didn't. So we'll have to see. Marcel Breitenbach has just had an off and has come to a stop. He's just got back going again. That looks like it's hit a wall, though, unfortunately, that Ferrari. The Breitenbachs not having a good day today, are they?
No, they aren't, and it's just not what they want at all. Both their championships.
Oh.
Jean in the elite class, and then Marcel in the Premier class, just not having the greatest of evenings.
No, definitely not. I'm trying to figure out which of the Lamborghinis that was that he just bounced off there, and I'm really hoping it wasn't Owen Seward, to be honest, because poor Owen has been knocked pillar to post time and time again in this race by other drivers bouncing off him all over the place. And that Lamborghini, I mean, it loves a slow, slidey spin anyway. Matthew Jones and Scott Kostrick have unfortunately had to come in together. Matthew's gone down the inside, Scott's in there. Oh, Jones just didn't leave enough room for him to sort of understeer and give that compromise. Oh dear. I don't think that was clumsy on either parts, to be fair, because I think, to be honest, I think Kostrick did the right thing and he let the car roll off the circuit and out of the way, didn't he? Oh, look at Audi! Danny Weir in the Audi. I think the only one out there tonight.
Yeah.
It is. Sorry, Danny, we've missed you. It's a gorgeous Audi as well. I mean, all of them are, but yeah, third in class as well. Get it on the podium, son.
We've gone 35 minutes without seeing
I
that
know.
thing.
I'm so sorry, Danny.
We didn't catch him at qualifying either. He's really had a nice under-the-radar performance. And tell you what, it's the kind of performance you want, especially considering he's sitting up in third place in his class. That's a very nice drive from Danny there. Exactly, though. You kind of want those performances, don't you, Chaz? If you're going to have a nice championship. Just quietly under the radar as that's Scott Kostrick with a moment just coming out of the second to last corner.
Danny really fighting this car, though, to be fair to him. It looks like the back end wants to break away all the time. I mean, it used to in the older Audi before this Evo 2 version was brought in. But yeah, it certainly looked like he was having to put a lot of lock on. It was very understeery, but then sort of mid-corner, very oversteery. So you can see even the front angle of those front wheels really is pointed in. But yeah, Danny, the only driver of the Audi this evening, his teammate usually joining him on circuit. He's flinging this 5.2 litre V10 engine beast around. Makes a good old racket. But definitely the Porsche is the car to be in, and that's not just because there's three of them leading the race. 1, 2 and 3, but it's just the car of the field by the look of it. It's interesting actually, because when it comes to, you know, balance of performance in GT3 racing, it's a bit more exaggerated because of the pace of the cars and how extreme they are in comparison to something like a touring car or a GT4 car. But I always use it as an example actually, and I hate to mention the words R Factor 2 when we're broadcasting iRacing, but a while ago, I think it was when they did the GT Pro Series. If Aiden is still about in the chat, he'll vouch for this. But they came up with a fantastic way of doing the balance of performance when I think they had something like 24 drivers. It'd been more than that. There'd been quite a few more than that. But they basically said throughout the field they split it evenly across all of the 7 or 8 manufacturers that were available. And when the teams were picking their cars, whichever car had more than, say you had 6 of each, so you'd have 6 Porsches, 6 Ferraris, 6 Bentleys, whatever. If you had more than 6 of that car, say you went to 8 of them, each one of those 8 would have 10 kilos applied to it. No questions asked. And I thought that was a really good way of doing it. So the more that you had, so it'd be 5 or 10 kilos, I think it was, 10 kilos actually, per car that it went over 6. So if you had 8, you'd actually have 20 kilos in every Porsche, for example. Oh no! Christophe Demay meets his demise, as Ed rightly said last week. It's a good pun, that,
Ed.
But
it's weird though, because BMW came off worse this time on a Porsche. I think already he was slightly loose. We saw a little bit of a twitch just before the contact that saw him get pitched around as Alex Fretwell battling away, isn't he? Looking up the inside of Nathan Crook. Is Nathan going to lose out a second time? Actually,
no, that was Brooks. That was
Sarah
Brooks.
Cardesla that was lost out, and Nathan Crook took advantage, wasn't it?
It was actually Brooks that was being lapped by them. The number 19 Porsche for Glasstec Racing. We've had an issue for Tristan Dinobrega. The guy that was in 5th position has had a drama. Luckily, he had quite the gap over Rhys Saunders. I think it's only going to be a small mishap. He's just going to lose the rear end and sort of slam on and, get going again. Great recovery, very quick, but easy to do, even for the guys right at the front of the field.
Still, he lost out quite a bit of time, even though it was a quick recovery. He lost 5 seconds to Yanis Albert, who's now got a bit more of a comfortable cushion in behind. He can focus on chasing down Ryan Ottman's ahead. Oh,
Nathan.
Cheeky dive up the inside, but look at Alex. He positioned his car brilliantly to take advantage. And saw that Nathan Crook was going to be running deep into the corner and in the space, and then was like, yep, you can carry on. I'm just going to take the corner as normally as I can do and get you on the exit.
Now Aidan has clarified in the chat. He said that it was something like the first person to pick the car has no weight, then like the third person got 5 kilos, fourth got 10, fifth got 20. So the people that knew that there was already a lot of those cars that then obviously chose the same one still had more weight than the ones before them. That's actually an odd way of doing it, I think, because I would have thought you'd put it all the same weight in all the cars, but then again, I guess if you are the first one to pick it, if you have the right to pick first, and you know, you just want the car you want, it's not your fault that somebody else also wants it. Oh my goodness me. That was very close there for Nathan Crook and Alex Fretwell. Wow, Ryan Ottens has now had a drama as well. Tristan Dinabrega has gained positions from this. This is from a podium position for Ryan Ottens. He's going to go through the left. Oh, he's hit the curb and around it goes. Oh, that's terrifying for Yannis Albert. That's also terrifying for Ryan Ottens because the car is sideways over a blind crest, but he gets away with it. Goodness me.
Yannis Albert has gained on Tristan Dinabrega as well, hasn't he?
No, Tristan came out of the pits in fifth.
Tristan came out of the pits there. Okay, so that's why I was slightly confused. But Yannis Albert, yet again, the only driver that's seemingly trying to take the battle to RDSA Esports. Currently on the podium, provisionally, of course. Ryan Ottens as well was in the mix, wasn't he? But I think Yannis Albert was the driver we saw last time at Interlagos doing the very same, wasn't he? Trying to get ahead of the RDSA Esports drivers.
Here we have Christoph de Meyer going past Hussein Sarakadesla. Just goes down the inside of the PTEC GP2 Porsche and moves ahead. That's an overall position, but no class position gain. Christoph de Meyer in the elite class, as you can see at the top. I'll show you the overall standings again, though, just so you can get an idea. And it's still Gianni Terhar that leads the way in the Quad Dash Racing Porsche at the top end of the Premier class. Now that is Thomas Pugh just behind him. That is for overall position, and you can see Gianni's just letting him go. He says, no, after you, sunshine, and the Barbecue Bread Racing Lambo goes by because he's still got another car between himself and Matt Hoyland, who is second in the Premier class there in the Porsche. And it's still Randy Ayres with a very healthy lead of about 12 seconds over his compatriots in the Evo class. Very good stuff by Randy. Home race as well for the American driver, which is important to note. We've got South African driver Troy Dolinschek leading the way in the elite class. We've then got the Dutchman Gianni Terhar next up. He said he was absolutely hyped last time because it was his first league race win in the second race at Interlagos, and he was more than happy for an interview. He was a great interviewee as well. And now we have Randy Ayres, the American driver, leading in the Evo class at his home race as well. There's a couple of American rounds, I think, this season as well. Next time out we go to Sebring, by the way, which is going to be awesome fun. Really looking forward to Sebring, where we go back to having 2 half-hour races there. Should be a lot of fun. Here's a battle now between Jack Wyborn and James Bostock. 2 more Porsches, Ed. Yeah, and like I say, we've got plenty of those, so you can see how these two managed to tussle together. So Jack Wyborn ahead of James Bostock, going for 8th and 9th in class, respectively. With just in behind them, William Alcala, but he's 7-11 seconds actually away from Jack Wyborn. So after the good start that William had to the race, he started to just drop back a little bit more. Looking actually at some of the biggest movers in the field, that goes to Randy Ayres and Robin Aston. Yes. Also actually Russell Jacques as well, who have all gained 11 places so far this race. There's the importance of not necessarily qualifying, but just getting through the races unscathed and in a decent stead. Yeah, it's really, really good, to be fair. Great driving and just great consistency. That's all you need in these endurance races. Here is John Ludbrook, 5th place in the Evo class at the moment. Gareth Newton not having the best of races right now. He won't appreciate me pointing that out, but Gareth 7th in class, 2nd in the championship. So he'll definitely be hoping that he can make more of this. He's got Mehmet Berat Akis in front of him, and then Graham Matthew actually just ahead of that. So that blue Lamborghini you see there is for position, and he's less than a second in front. So Gareth now has the chance to just gain those extra few championship points in his class. See whether he can make anything of this, because of the fact that the guys ahead will probably battle as well. Akis is in a different class. He's in the Premier class, so realistically you could expect Graham to let him go by, but he doesn't have to. So we'll just see how he approaches this. A little bit of a slide on the exit there for Gareth Newton. You can see that the back end of this Lamborghini does want to dance around quite a lot. Just under 16 minutes left of the race here in the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship from Circuit of the Americas. This is round 3 here on Chaz Draycott Media with myself, Chaz Draycott, and Ed May up in the commentary box. Thanks again to the championship sponsors, Medius, Kame, AB Designs and Keenan Eco Energy as well. Thanks, of course, to Evolution Sim Racing for getting us on board for this season. It's lovely to finally have GT3 cars on the channel after a couple of years of broadcasting. So here's Graham Matthew, Ed. What do you reckon he's going to do here? Do you think he's just going to hold this? Because I think by now he would have given it up to Akkus.
Yeah, but maybe Akkus isn't actually going to go for it either. He's going to look to save a bit of fuel. Looking at the inside, I mean, a light defensive move, but nothing too dramatic.
No.
I don't think Graham Matthews was too hell-bent on holding on to that position. It was more where Akkus was, I think, more content, if anything, just to stay behind and potentially save some fuel.
Yeah, and behind all this as well, I think, do we not have the... I don't think it's the race leader coming through, but there's another Porsche there behind Gareth Newton. It is actually the 217. It's the race leader, Troy Dolenczek, making his way up to the back of these guys. So he's maybe going to inadvertently sort this out.
Oh. Akkus really dropping back now from the tail of the Lamborghini out in front. What's happened there?
He's lost a place. He's lost an outright place for that as well. Not sure. But yeah,
I'll have a look and see if we can figure out, because that was very slow. He was going actually, that allowed Dolenczek through. No dramas.
Did he get a slowdown penalty? Did he cut over a curb or something really hard? Oh.
Gets thrown off rhythm, and
that's really strange. I think he just lost it a bit, didn't he? And then I think after that he was just staying out of the way because he knew the leader was coming through. I think it was just respectful driving. He knows he's not fighting these guys for position, I suppose. So yeah, he knew that was that. As Graham Matthew goes really wide to let Dolenczek through, and then right on the apex, right in the nick of time, Gareth Newton. Really good opportunistic driving that, but a great exit still by Graham Matthews. They remain side by side. He dabs the brakes, keeps it on the inside line, and click on the right car, Chaz. Gareth Newton goes through. Lovely, opportune stuff that. That was great. Really great stuff that by Gareth Newton. Let's have another look then. Look at that.
Sees the gap open up. Look at him diving up the inside. He left it quite late as well, didn't he? Saw just the sort of closing gap and went for it. Lovely stuff there. As Gareth Newton now up into the 6th place, like you said, in class at the moment. Akkus and Russell Breitenbach, who are now approaching this sort of quite a hotly contested action zone, isn't it, on the circuit, these drivers all together?
Yeah, definitely. And again, this is one of the best things about multi-class racing within the same class of cars. You know, you've got a bunch of drivers that they tend to make their mind on the fly. They make their mind up of whether they're going to battle each other or not, which is always exciting. We never know what we're going to get. So they're all sort of concertinaing together now with the race leaders coming through. There's Luke Lucchese, 2nd place. He's had a very under-the-radar performance, but he's doing really well at this moment. He's 4.4 seconds off Dolenczek, and he's 9.2 ahead of Yannis Albert. So he's in a very safe position right now. He doesn't need to risk anything through the traffic or any moments of this race now, does he, with just 12 minutes to go? Down the straight he goes once more. We'll go on board, give you an idea of how rapid this looks from on board, even with the motion blur as well, adding to the effect. And hard onto the brakes, into the hairpin at the end. I suppose that's another thing, Ed, because they're all in the same class, or well, same category of racing vehicle. You can't really just breeze past in a straight line unless the other guy actively lets you through, can you?
Yeah, I also love that little onboard shot we get of the sound as well of the engine just roaring its way down the straight, and also the lovely little sound of the curbing, the rumble strip on the way in, the way the note sort of like slowly decreases as the car slows it down. It's very nice how they can all sort of model the sound engine stuff in iRacing, so it doesn't, I think, get spoken about too much in sim racing. It's actually the work that iRacing do to get the sounds of the car right, the little sort of like gearbox one you get of that Porsche.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful, wonderful noise. We'll cut back to another sort of, not even an inter-class battle. This is Christophe Demay in the BMW. He's had a very lively race today, down the inside of Alex Fretwell. Alex doesn't fight that one too hard because he knows that Demay is in a separate class to him and nothing to worry about. We do need to look at this though. Randy Ayres, who leads the Evo class at the moment, is right in the back of Robin Aston. Robert's just gone past him and Randy's not having any of it. He's just parked it on the... Oh, that was a little bit naughty almost. from Randy. Really parks it on the apex. Didn't need to do that, to be honest, because Robin's not in the same class as him. But, yeah. I mean, Randy's not taking any prisoners at the moment. He's not letting the Premier guys go through and have an easy ride of this. And he continues to lead in the Evo class. Second place, Wesley Van Rens. Oh, he's only 3.5 seconds behind now, Ed. So, with 10 minutes to go. And I mean, the pace that Wesley's been doing is... Well, actually, no. It was a bit slower than Randy last time out. Maybe because of a bit of traffic, but Randy looks comfortable enough to hold on, I'd say.
Looks for the moment. Randy is in a nice, comfy spot. And the lead is... What's happening here with Matthew Jones?
The curb or back end brake. Yep, there it goes. Oh, no. Oh, no. He nearly saved it, but I think he expected it to spit back the other way again. And that's the end of the race for him. We'll go on board again and look at this. You can see the car goes one way, then the other, and he saves it really well. So it's gone there. He's saved it there, but he's expected it to go to the right, so he flicks left. Oh, man. That's devastating for Matthew Jones. Absolutely devastating, because he was just preempting the car going again, wasn't he?
Again, it's so difficult to maintain control of the car when you're going at that speed. You've already had one moment. You never know what it's going to, especially with the tyres getting overcooked just from that little moment as well, where you lose control. So that sends the friction through them that really just then causes you to be fighting a losing battle, unfortunately, as we just saw. Meanwhile, no sort of loss in this battle, or even any battle at all for Jenny Tahar for pretty much the majority of the race. He hasn't had to worry about any threat from behind or worry about any cars he needs to chase out in front, as he's led pretty much from start to finish. And this is looking very nice for him and his championship hopes. Something about Dutchman leading comfortably. Something.
Shut
for
up.
The rest of the season.
Stop it. Don't bring that here. It's Stitch Free at the moment, as Tristan Engelstad in front of him and Nathan Crook behind him. Now, they're both Premier class drivers here, with the Elite class driver sat in the middle. One thing I'm intrigued by here, actually, I'm just going to try and keep my eye out for this. I've only just noticed this, so just give me a sec. I'll explain in a second. But we're going to look at Engelstad go through turn 1. Yeah. There's a big difference between these two cars, and it's not the livery. Can you figure out what it is?
I can't figure out what it is, Chaz.
I wondered why Stitchbury's car looked a lot more racy than Engelstad's car. Look at the tyres.
Oh.
So, because of the base livery that's been chosen in iRacing, in the UI, they're running different tyres. Engelstad's on Pirellis, and I mean, it won't affect anything, but Engelstad's on Pirellis visually anyway, and Stitchbury's on Michelin's visually, which is interesting. I've never noticed that it does that. I just wondered why.
We've seen it on we've seen it on certain cars before, but never.
I think it was some of the old. I think the older Porsche 911 GT3R, the 991, actually had it, because they have an IMSA livery that runs on Michelin's, and then, do they run on Michelin's and IMSA? Or is it?
I think they do.
Yeah, I think it is. And then Pirelli's in other championships. So, yeah, interesting. It crossed my mind when it came around the final corner, because I thought, don't they all run on Pirellis? But no, that's definitely Michelin tyre writing, because it's huge and it looks awesome. It looks absolutely awesome. So, yeah, sorry, I was just getting a little bit nerdy there. Ooh, Nathan Crook close to the back of Jan Stitchbury. Nathan's a very exciting driver to watch, though, because you never really know what he's going to do next. So hats off to him for that. We never mean to slate him or anything when we said earlier that he got himself in a bit of trouble. But he is that driver that, you know, he doesn't take every lap just as it comes. He just goes maximum attack, and it's really exciting to watch. So we'll see whether he can get the better of Stitchbury here, because, I mean, look at that. He's very close on the brakes. Really confident, isn't he? That's the main thing, I think, to take away from that, is that Crook comes across as a very confident driver.
Yeah, he does, but is Nathan going to want to maybe back off a little bit more into the corners just to put Jan's mind at ease, and then
no.
Never mind. No, I was going to say let them try and work together to chase down
Nathan.
Engelstad, but Nathan He really chucked it up the inside.
My word.
Nothing. You would never believe that that was not for class position.
No, I know.
He comes from quite a ways back, doesn't he? Look at this.
Nathan, sunshine, just chill out.
Oh,
That's amazing. That is amazing.
very good awareness from Yayan as well to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't result in a crash as well. To sort of, he turned into the corner, but then realised, hang on a minute, I've got an absolute rocket ship of a Porsche barreling up the inside. I best leave him about a car's width and see what he can make of it.
It can be seen as a bit clumsy, that, I must admit, but I think because, well, I suppose because it was for positions that aren't in the same class, but he's got Engelstad only a second up the road, so for his own race he needs to crack on and try and chase him down. So, you know,
Yeah,
no argument for it for the overall bigger picture.
Yeah, I thought he was going to maybe wait behind, give Yayan a bit more space, just so then he doesn't have to worry about the fight behind him. Then Yayan can focus on getting the car ahead, but maybe not. As I thought for a minute, Yayan was going to fight him back into the corner there. It looked like they were getting close to blows, but I think Yayan also sees that while he isn't going to necessarily worry about too many positions up ahead of him, Nathan does. And that's where I think the fight is between Nathan and Tristan there.
Well, Troy Dolinschek continues to lead this race here in the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship. 4 minutes left on the clock. That's about one lap of Kota, isn't it? Which is, I'm sure, going to fly by very, very quickly. Unfortunately, Sean Clark has just had a drama. We've not seen much of Sean tonight, I'm afraid. Sorry, Sean. He's running 8th in class, 38th overall. I think he's just going to lose the rear on a downshift here. Oh, he's just gone a little bit deep, actually, and will pretty much come to a stop to make sure. I don't know whether he had, whether he was close to the incident limit there, and he didn't want to go off the circuit because he didn't want to get another one. Meanwhile, Stitchbury's just been overtaken by his teammate. Christophe Demay goes through into 10th position. BMW overtakes Mercedes, and look at this ahead. Nathan Crook now trying to attack Tristan Engelstad for position in the Mercedes. Nathan Crook really, like I said, has been very exciting to watch throughout these first couple of rounds of the championship. And look at the differing lines there and how it affects the drivers at different parts of the complex. You can gain a bit of time on the guy in front by letting the car run wide through a corner, but then you've got to slow it down for the next bit. And the concertina effect is massive. You can tell that Crook wants to destroy these tyres as well. He knows that they're pretty much done now. He's using all the luck in the world.
He really is just trying to get that car to turn in, kind of momentum through into the corner. A little bit of a look at the inside. We've seen drivers that like to do that, and we've got one of them actually in the championship recoverers. Look at the exit speed he gets.
Amazing.
Out of the corner there. Really nicely done. That steering lockers, I think, managed to get a bit more warmth in the tyres and get them nice and grippy on the way out of the corner. So that was brilliant from Nathan, and now he's got to look up the inside into this heavy braking zone. We know the Porsche is very good on its brakes, and there Nathan Crook, I think, gets that position secured. Yes, he does. Lovely move by Nathan. He set it up just the corner before, didn't he, coming on to that back straight.
Great stuff. Absolutely great. Can't argue with that. I muttered a little bit there that he doesn't need to move over on the straight, because I thought he was going to try and squeeze Engelstad right to the outside, and it was not anything that he needed to do. He was already in the prime position, and he's used that to his advantage. Great job. William Alcala has unfortunately had a spin. I think he's had this. That's up to turn 1. It's just going to go a little bit light over the crest, maybe on a downshift. Yeah, back end just gets away. GT3 cars are annoyingly good at that, aren't they? They have this slow, lazy spin. As Engelstad now going back at Nathan Crook down the inside, side by side on the exit, but Crook using the wider line gets a better run. It's almost like oval racing that. And now Engelstad, is he going to try and give back what Crook did earlier on to Stitchbury? We'll have to see. He's now defending. Whoa, Nathan defends like mad from Demay down the inside, almost like his life depends on it.
It was smart as well, because if he let Demay get up on the inside, that was going to open the door wide for Engelstad. And I think Engelstad realised that as well, because he got well out of the way of the BMW that was coming up his inside, thinking, right, I get right in the sort of tyre tracks of this BMW as he then takes Nathan Crook, I'm going to get a position. And it didn't quite work out for him, did it?
No, absolutely not. It's a shame that it went that way, but at the end of the day, this is racing. You win some, you lose some. This is the closest battle on track at the moment, though. We still have Troy Dolinschek leading the way outright and leading the way in the elite class. We have Gianni Terha leading in Premier class, and then the Evo class still being led by Randy Ayres and he's got 7 seconds over Wesley Van Rens now as well, so it's looking like a very convincing victory this for Randy. He's doing a great job as, oh no, Danny Weir has just lost 3rd place in class here. Russell Jacques has just gone by, so the Audi drops off the podium positions. Oh, he's already got damage to the front actually, as Danny, and the car goes around. Oh no, not quite sure what's gone on there. We've got one more lap in the books though, and Troy Dolenchek has started it now, Ed. What a great dominant drive this has been. We've barely looked at the RDSA cars because they've just been in such great control. Tristan Dino Brega had his little moment earlier. He then got a position basically for free from Ryan Ottens. We've not really seen much of Reece Saunders tonight either, actually. There's a number of drivers we've not looked at, but the man at the top, no news is good news for Troy Dolenchek as he continues on his merry way.
Yeah, it seems to be the case for him at this moment in time. Out in front without a care in the world. And behind that's really threatening him, and he's got this long back straight and final sector to go before he makes it yet another victory in this Evolution Sim Racing season. 4th one in the books, and while Troy is a newcomer, he certainly looks like a seasoned veteran the way he's been commanding some brilliant drives already at this stage of the season.
Yeah, 7,000 I rating tells you all you need to know for Troy Dolenchek, the South African driver. RDSA Esports certainly not messing about either. They've got Luke Lucchese in here, Tristan Dino Brega, both of them in or around 4,000 I rating too. All very talented guys, and you know they're taking on other drivers at the top of the standings that are around 6,000 I rating as well. Yannis Albert in 3rd position. He's not just good at Rocket League, as I mentioned last week. He won a Rocket League tournament that I did, but he's also very good at wrangling that Lamborghini around. But into the final corner to maybe get one more bit of lap traffic in the form of the number 42 Porsche there of Dennis Kohler. Troy Dolenchek wins round 3 of the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship in very dominant style. Luke Lucchese makes it a 1-2 for RDSA Esports. Great job by the guys once again. Very convincing performance by both of them. And their teammate as well, Tristan. He may not have finished on the podium, but still a great drive. Yannis Albert gets a podium for Lamborghini. Very well done to him, ahead of Tristan Dino Brega and Ryan Ottens. We need to look a bit further back in the pack though, because it's another Porsche that is succeeding, and it's our favourite interviewee from last weekend, Gianni Terhar.
Yeah, Jay Tahar, great character off the track, but also a nice cool head on it. And that's seen him with a wonderful performance, start to finish, taking the victory in the Premier class and extending his championship lead.
That's all he needed to do tonight. He's come here and succeeded in that one. Matt Hoyland is going to finish in 2nd place. Another Porsche. It's going to be a Porsche lockout, actually, as Joe Glass is going to complete the Premier podium. Very well done to those guys. And then behind them as well, we need to look at this battle because Nathan Crook just beats, does he? No, I don't think he does. Tristan Engelstad beats Nathan Crook across the line.
Nathan Crook's run out of fuel, has he?
I think he might have done, yeah. Jan Stitchbury was next up, and then Alex Fretwell. So 3 points right at the end there for Tristan Engelstad. Wow. Right at the end. Unbelievable stuff. And we look even further back, but by no means least, Randy Ayres, at his home race, has had an absolute belter tonight. Ed, he led that class and built up a colossal lead, and we barely even noticed, being honest. He was just away with it.
Yeah, we didn't notice him at all. It was mainly Wesley Van Rens that we were focusing on in the lead of that class, but Randy Ayres, he managed to work the race to his advantage, and that is a very good performance there to get his first victory of the season.
Great stuff by Randy. Very, very well driven. Wesley Van Rens is going to finish in 2nd place, and that's going to help him in his championship as well. Great stuff for Wesley. And 3rd place goes the way of Russell Jacques for MRC 493. Very well done, guys. Great racing all night. Awesome to watch. So, another win for Troy Dolenchek here at Circuit of the Americas. Certainly making it look very tasty at the moment. Hopefully, everybody, the results will work this week. Let's have a look, shall we? Please work. There we go. See. Now, I want to confess something here, and I want to tell you all that, one, I'm a massive idiot, because, you know, last week, Ed, I was talking about the fact that obviously the results wouldn't scroll down and they wouldn't move down past the sort of 12 or 13 drivers that we had showing. Well, that, everybody, is because we only have usually 12 or 13 per class. So, of course, it's not going to show more than that when I get it to scroll. So that may have had something to do with it. Still, Troy Dolinshek takes the win. Luke Lucchese is teammate in second position, with Yannis Albert in third for Sumo Racing. Someone had to stop the RDSA boys. RDSA Esports Tristan Dino Brega finishes in fourth, with Ryan Ottens in fifth place for Alpha One Esports. Reece Saunders was in sixth in car number 1. I think that'll probably be changed for next time round. Then it was Thomas Pugh and Paul Cowlishaw. Jean McLuhan and Christophe Demay actually completes the top 10 after falling down in the order earlier on. Ian Stitchbury, John Breitenbach and Jamie Rees complete the field, although a non-finish for Jamie Rees. Ed, why don't you take it away with the Premier class, my friend?
Thank you very much, Chaz. And what a dominant drive it was from Gianni Tahar, who took the race victory in the Premier class by nearly 14 seconds to Matt Hyland in second place. Rounding out the Premier class podium is Joe Glass for Glass Tech Racing, nearly 20 seconds back from Gianni. Such was his dominance. Tristan Engelstad, teammate of the class winner, had some good points as well for his championship in fourth place, with Nathan Crook in fifth, followed by Alex Fretwell, who was second place going into this championship but loses a few points to his rivals. Hussein Sarakar-Desla there in seventh place, ahead of James Bostock, with Jack Wyborn in ninth place, with William Alcala rounding out the top 10. Then we come to 11th place, Javier Talavera, with Jamal Gandor in 12th place, Simon Cheshire 13th with Robin Aston, Paul Robson, Mehmet Barrett-Akas in 16th place, Marcel Breitenbach 17th with Scott Kostrick, Matthew Jones, and Stephen Donnelly, Joe Sparza and Matt Barnett, classed as non-finishers.
Thank you very much, Ed. We now go to the Evo class, where last but no means least, Randy Ayres taking the victory there, with Wesley Van Rens in second place and Russell Jacques completing the podium. Now, it says they're one lap down there, but that's from the race leader, effectively, I believe. So you can see there that John Ludbrook was in fourth place, Gareth Newton fifth, Graham Matthew in sixth place. Great battle between those two. Sean Clark in seventh, with Danny Weir in eighth. Next up was Dennis Kohler in ninth, and Rob McKee, who was one of the fastest drivers in practice and qualifying, ended up in 10th position. Owen Seward will be looking for a Lamborghini parts dealer after that race in 11th position. He was knocked about all over the place, and then 6 laps down were Kalen Bartlett and Stevan Jovanovic. Ashley Brooks and James Pallett did not complete the race. So, time to go back in time. We're going to go all the way back to the start of the race. There's going to be a lot of scrolling here. The screen will gradually show us the start of the race, and we'll see who we've got for an interview, Ed. Well, who else to speak to than the man that drove away with it at the front today, much like he did at Interlagos. Troy Dolinshek joins us in the booth. Troy, another good day at the office for you. You must be really happy.
Yeah, really happy. The race went well in general. I think the pace was really good, and I think the biggest thing was getting quali right. The tyres dropped off quite a lot, which you guys would have seen towards the end of the race especially. So I think a lot of the guys would have seen that it was probably 2 or 3 laps that you could only get in, and by then the tyres were finished. So I think quali was probably the biggest thing, and getting my best lap in on the first lap was probably the key. And then, Luke was really quick throughout the race, so he kept me honest. But yeah, like you said, it was quite a smooth sailing race. The back markers were really awesome, got out the way and made it really easy for us, so a big thank you to them. But yeah, like you said, a really good race, was happy with the pace and kept it nice and consistent. Absolutely, that's what it's all about, and a solid result for the team as well, a 1-2 finish. It was nearly a 1-2-3 again, but unfortunately a little bit of drama for Tristan showed that Yannis could get the podium, but it's tough to keep it together for an hour in these cars, isn't it? No, it's very difficult, and I think what makes it even more difficult with the off tracks and the penalty point limit, with only 10 before a drive through. So that made it even more difficult. 1 or 2 mistakes and you're already at 3 or 4x. So that made it even more challenging. So, and especially with a track like this, where it's always tempting to take an off track here and there to gain a lot of lap time. It's very rewarding to take an off track. So that made it even more difficult. And luckily, again, the Porsche was really quick here. So hopefully that continues throughout the season. Absolutely. Well, it certainly seems to be the car to be in. Now we go to Sebring next time out in a week with 2 30-minute races there. Are you happy for that one? Are you looking forward to it? Yeah, I think I definitely prefer the 2 30-minute races. The sitting here for an hour can get quite challenging. Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm really excited for the invert again. I really enjoy those races. And yeah, I quite enjoy Sebring, so I'm looking forward to it.
Smashing stuff. Well done again, Troy. Sorry, I nearly called Tristan then. I was looking at the timing. Troy, well done, mate. Fantastic stuff. Is there anyone you'd like to give a thanks to before you go?
Yeah, just my family watching the stream. Thank you to them. Just always supporting. But yeah, other than that, again, well done to Tristan and Luke again. Nice results for the team.
Beautiful stuff. Well done, Troy. Great to speak to you, and we'll see you in a week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers. Another very controlled night by Troy Dolinshek there, Ed. He did exactly what he needed to do, didn't he, all throughout that race?
Absolutely, and that's, again, the mark of a driver that is just so comfortable and also so confident in what he's doing that he can just go out there and not have to worry about anything. I mean, the lap time he put in qualifying as well was just a massive benchmark, wasn't it, at the start? 1 second faster than everyone else, and then from there he just kept getting faster and making it even harder for anyone else to get near him.
Absolutely. We'll see who else we can grab for a chat, shall we? I was hoping to get our class winner from the Evo class, but we'll speak to Rob McKee. He's probably here to tell me that I'm saying his name wrong, to be honest. Rob jumps in the box with us from DXT Motorsports. Rob, welcome to the booth, my friend. First off, how was that race for you? It looked like a bit of a difficult one out there tonight.
The race was good. I was enjoying it. The problem for me was my VR decided as I came into the pits and stopped in the box, it wanted to shut down and have to restart. So I ended up at a lap down.
I was going to say, because we at one point realised Randy Ayres was leading the race, and we sort of hadn't realised what had happened with the change, but it did strike me that you were the one to beat early on in the night, because you were right up there all throughout, weren't you?
I was. The first stint, I was just really enjoying it. I was stuck behind some of the Prem guys and trying to work out if it was going to be best to pit and come out in a bit of free air, but I couldn't do the maths in my head quick enough. So I stayed out, pitted when I aimed to pit, and then, headset killed me, but came back out, carried on running, keeping pace with everyone. So I'm pleased with how the race went overall.
Well, it's always good to come away from an evening like that. And to be fair, people often underestimate, when they watch the broadcasts and they don't sort of do the racing for themselves. It's very easy to underestimate how difficult it is to do the maths when you're thinking about fuel while also driving. We don't all have pit crews around us to help, do we?
No, and it was trying to keep concentrating on the race to avoid the incidents and the incident points, rather, so I don't pick up a drive-through.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot to think about with these races, but fingers crossed it goes better next time. Rob, Sebring next time, though. It should be good fun with 2 30-minute races there, shouldn't it?
It should be. DXT are doing the 12-hour this weekend anyway, so we'll have plenty of practice on the track.
Awesome. Well, we hope it goes well for you and the guys, Rob. Best of luck. And before you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout-out to?
The other DXT drivers and the JSD drivers who've been in the chat with us all night.
Lovely stuff. Well, great to speak to you, Rob. Thanks for jumping in, and we'll see you at Sebring. Have a good one.
Yeah, see you later.
Lovely stuff, Rob McKee. Like I said, we thought for a while that something had gone on, didn't we? And I couldn't picture what it was, because obviously there's a lot to, obviously a lot to look at in these races, Ed. So we unfortunately missed that, so we do apologise to Rob. Why don't you take it away, though, Ed, with our eventual class winner that benefited from that, winning his home race, Randy Ayres.
Yes, welcome into the Gonzox, Randy, and it's a great way to bounce back, isn't it, from the disappointment of Interlagos with a race victory of your home circuits on the calendar. Just talk us through the race from your perspective, mate.
A little rough first lap. It looked like everyone was trying to win it in the first couple of corners there, but survived the melee and just tried to... I had 5X on the first lap, so... got run into a couple of times, but survived up to about 4 laps left, and then I had to serve my drive-through penalty. But it's a tough track. It's a tough track.
Yeah, what's the hardest bit about it, do you think? Because obviously it's a bit of a headache when setting up the car for this circuit, because you've got the long straights, but then also quite a lot of demanding corners. Is that one of the main issues with it?
Yeah, a lot of high-speed corners into high-speed straights into slow-speed corners, and it's really hard to set the car up for. And then you've got those little medium-speed corners in the middle, So, you can set your car up for one way or another, but, you're going to give up a little bit on the opposite.
Yeah, definitely. And also, just about this car itself as well, the Porsche. We saw a lot of drivers struggling through that first sector in particular, with the rate just basically balanced over the rear axle in this thing. Was that something you had to sort of nurse around in that first sector? Was the rear trying to break away?
More under braking than acceleration. And I played with the brake bias a little bit to work that out as the fuel load changed. So, yeah, it wasn't so bad exiting corners for me.
That's fair enough then. Obviously, we know the Porsche are very good accelerate out corners, also quite decent under braking as well. We have a few different cars. Was there any other thought about maybe changing car? Or is it always the Porsche in your mind for this season?
I'm going to drive the Porsche this season for a couple of endurance races. My team and I will be driving the Lambo, but I think I'll stick with the Porsche. I like it. I've come to be able to drive it fairly well, so I'm competitive in it, and yeah. What more do you want, I guess?
Yeah, no, fair enough, mate. Fair enough, absolutely. Obviously, next week we go to Sebring for, I think, 2 sprint races. So what's your sort of expectations going to that one? Another win, maybe 2 in the offing for you?
I'm always out for a win, but, to finish first, you must first finish. So trying to keep it on track. Sebring's another one of those tough tracks. And 2 tough tracks in a row. So, yeah, it's going to be a challenge and fun. Really enjoying racing with these guys. So, and great job on the broadcast too, you guys.
No worries. It's enjoyable watching you go out there and battle with everyone. Hopefully we can see more the same from you at Sebring. Before we let you get going, though, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out on the broadcast, buddy?
Oh, yeah. My girlfriend running her, the livery for her company on my car, helloresident.com. And she's supports me in this stuff. I don't think she's going to make me dinner tonight, though. But okay.
That's fair enough. The sacrifices you have to make to sim race, buddy?
Exactly. No
worries.
But I'm a little ways away. I'm on the west coast of the U.S., so it's early afternoon for me here still. You guys are probably ready for bed almost. Pouring that last beer into bed, so
not my first one yet.
Yeah, we haven't had any chance. We maybe towards the end of the season we might pop a bit of bubbly mid-race, celebration, but teetotal for us tonight, mate. But anyways, thank you very much for joining us and having a great chat with us. Lovely to speak to you, and hopefully we'll have many more meetings like this with some more podiums and race victories in the cards for you this season.
Hopefully, yeah. Fingers crossed on this side. So thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it.
No worries. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Lovely stuff. Randy Ayres, what a guy, winning the class, and what a great night he had as well there, Ed. I mean, it's just looked like it was a very straightforward drive for him, but as I said to Troy earlier, it's not easy, is it, to be honest, to keep it together in these cars for that long?
No, and he did reveal that he had to take a drive-through penalty, but still that wasn't enough to take him away from the top step of the podium in the Evo class. Lovely drive there by Randy, and it's interesting, isn't it, to get some insights into the drivers, the reasons why they choose the cars, and some of the aspects that go into setting up them as well for these races.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more behind the scenes that people don't get to see, but it's been another absolute belter of an evening here in the Evolution Sim Racing GT3 Championship. Another very impressive win for Troy Dolenchek. Takes him way further in the championship standings, and it's going to be very difficult for anybody to beat him from here, and it's only round 3. Still, let's see how the rest of the championship goes. Thanks again to the championship sponsors, the championship admins, and of course the drivers for making this oh so entertaining. Thank you, Ed, for joining me in the commentary box once again. It's always a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you all in a week's time at Sebring. But for now, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you again soon. 4 French drivers at the French Grand Prix trying to win this on the final lap. They're 3 wide again. Guillaume down the inside. Guillaume moves across. They're both in front of Milan and Pouget.
Before you know it, we find ourselves here in the very final race of the competition.
And then they see truck racing and they think, this is crazy. These are 5-ton machines, 1,200 horsepower brake.
Oh, look at that switchback. Oh, he's been mugged and a drift is going off. half and it's gone. Senna Lanson tries to go for the race lead.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.